look, just remember, you're never as good as you think you are. You're never as bad as you think you are. Right. You're somewhere in the middle, but you can get really good at the process.
Learn to see that the problem that you have, that your whole world is actually not that big of a deal. You know, I've written a bunch of kids' books, and one of the things that triggered me to write kids' books is realizing that, you know, one day my daughter came home. It's my oldest daughter, and she came home from school, and she's like, she says, I'm stupid. I said, what do you mean you're stupid? I'm stupid. I'm dumb. Why do you think that? No, whatever grade it is when you're supposed to know your times tables. I don't know my times tables. I said, oh, well, how much have you studied? She kind of gave me the confused look. What do you mean studied? I said, have you studied yet? Have you made flashcards to learn them? And she didn't. She hadn't. She thought she should just know them. From, you know, the teacher went over what they are. Now she should know them like some other kids in the class did. And so I'm sitting there going, oh yeah, cool. We'll just, you know, we'll make some flashcards. And she made flashcards and she learned her times tables in 45 minutes and we were good. But what struck me was, to me, I was like, oh, no big deal. To her, it was her whole life. And that, unfortunately, doesn't only apply to kids. It applies to adults as well. And they get this problem in their world that seems so insurmountable and so massive because that little ecosystem that they're stuck in is their world, and they run into this problem in that, and it's disruptive in that world, and they don't know how to get out of it. You know, I did a podcast talking about these ecosystems that people get into, right? And there's all these ecosystems. You're in an ecosystem. We're both in a shared ecosystem of podcasting. And we could be like, oh my gosh, you know, Lex just came out with a new podcast and it's been the biggest success. And what can I do to catch up with Lex? And all of a sudden I could get really bothered. You could get really bothered. We could be bothered by that and think, man, I'm a failure. Meanwhile, there's people that don't listen to podcasts. There's people that don't even know what a podcast is. And yet it's our whole world. If we let it be, you're in the academic world. Hey, you're a professor at Stanford, which is a big deal in that world. I know people that don't give a rat's ass. They don't know where Stanford is.
I get that all the time.
They don't know where Stanford is. It's no big deal. In the SEAL teams, same thing. Somebody has a problem in the SEAL teams and they think this is the whole world and I blew it. And now what are they going to do? When you're facing a significant problem in life, a relationship, a problem with a job, you got to remember that you're in one ecosystem. And if you step outside of that ecosystem, no one really cares. And you could go move into a whole totally different ecosystem and find happiness there. But at least utilize that to get out of that storm cloud that you're in.